On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Okay.
I mean, I Rilla named like 3 guys. Like, I mean, Cheeky and JB, yeah, but a lot of these videos on social media are of some young women and young men doing some foolish stuff. So, I mean, are you just basing that on Rilla what you see on YouTube or what you seen out there?
No, I'm in the field. I
Because kids
use
are
them
having kids
because but
nowadays.
I use no. First of all, the birth rate is down. Number one. Number two, the marriage rate is equally down, and number three, I use cheeky banner in them because those are archetypes of what we would all be familiar with, seeing as how that's home team, right? But when I go to my school, or when I go into the hood, or if I go to MTB, or if I go to Corliss, where I do work, whatever, I'm seeing different amongst the young men.
So what about or what about morals or standards?
Oh yeah, that's important too, because if you're actually operating in a space where you have values and you have scruples and principles and all those things, sex is not going to be at the forefront of everything. It's going to be a part of the conversation, but you're talking about legacy, you're talking about family, you're talking about planning, building, fellowshipping. You're actually getting to know a person for who they are, except for actually knowing how they are sexually.
All right. I definitely want to get Kay's perspective on this. Kay, do you think sexual liberation has helped or hindered the Western world?
I know y'all aren't going to like this, but I think that it just depends on the person. If we're talking about the entirety of the Western world, I mean, if we're going to compare how the Western world was 100 years ago versus now, which one would you rather live in? I mean, I don't know. I think that's just like another variable. So I wouldn't say that was the exact reason that things were helped or hindered. But like for individuals, they could have been helped or hindered. But in terms of like progression, I wouldn't say that sexual liberation was like the main variable that did that.
Do you think sexual liberation is wait, you gotta ask the right questions. Do you think sexual liberation is affecting the community as today? Do you think it's gonna affect the kids?
Sure, yeah.
Chicago Rilla, do you think sexual liberation has helped or hindered the West?
Hindered. I think about, again, I told y'all, I just did my 30-year reunion, right? I think about the music we listen to.
What?
I think about, at our brunch Sunday, they played French Kiss. And if you're from Chicago and you know Lil Louis and you know French Kiss, you know there's a particular part of that song where it broke down, where we was 15, 14, 16-year-old kids listening to that at the rink, grinding, right? And I'm pretty sure y'all could think about some of y'all think about shit that y'all did, compromising that young lady's innocence, right? So what does all that stem from? Comes from the 60s, 70s, 80s, certainly into the 90s, where it got progressively worse, where women were free to do whatever they want to do. My body, my choice didn't just mean I can have a baby when I want. It mean I could give the poom poom to who I wanted to give the poom poom to. And there was a certain time where men would be aggressive and that was seen as attractive. And then it became no means no, right? So now where do we end up today? Megan Thee Stallions, Cardi B's, Nicki Minaj's. And what's funny is I remember when my daughter, that I brag about often on here, she was in high school, and she mentioned her name around me one time, and I said, you can call her Nikki, you can't ever say the second half of her name around me, right? But that's how pervasive this sexual liberation has gotten. It's gotten us to the point where not only do women not value their prized possession, but men also have not valued themselves as much because it's so easy to get it now.
That's a fact. They don't really got to work to get it.
It's on the first date. It used to be first date, you may get to first base, or you were trying to get to first base. Maybe second base. No, No, home plate is first date now.
You see it getting better, Rilla?
You know what? Honestly, with these shorties, when I think about, the Jonathan Barronvilles, the Cheeky Banners, the Jedi Mikes, when I think about the Broken Dusties on Wednesday, I'm impressed with what these young bloods is doing, man. So a lot of young bloods realizing they value and they worth, man. I mean, we still got a lot of work to do because we done lost so much of our warrior class, but it's also why when I get in these spaces and I have the option or the ability to talk to women, I'm encouraging y'all women, man. We need y'all really to drill down on these young ladies more, man. Like, honestly, it can't, I'm telling you, it can come from me, but it doesn't resonate when it comes from me. I don't have that connection. I'm not a woman. It means more when it comes from y'all. And I know they push back on y'all, but I see the young bloods this is what I see, Q. I see the young bloods getting better. I see to Anton's point, boomers dropped the ball, Generation X dropped the ball. There's a lot of people that are standing up to fill in the gap, that are willing to be mentor to the young bloods, to the gentlemen, right? And the gentlemen are saying, you're right, I can do better, I can be better, I could, get in the gym, men are made, I can read more, I can become a better version of myself. I'm not going to get a basket weaving degree out of college, right? I'm gonna go into STEM, I'm gonna produce something, right? I'm gonna be a producer, right? And then when they become these producers, what they're finding is there's no woman equivalent that looks like them. So you know what they do? They go find the next available option, the next best available option.
You think that's out there? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just surprised that nobody has actually addressed. Oh, let me turn this off. I'm getting my.
Oh, you on mute?
You're muted.
All right, I'm gonna come back to him. T-Bomb, what are your thoughts about it? Do you think sexual liberation has helped or hindered the Western world? You on mute, just so you know. Is there something wrong with the? Okay. All right, there we go. No.
Yeah, I definitely think it has hindered. And I actually agree with Rilla with what he was saying. So.
Okay.
I mean, I Rilla named like 3 guys. Like, I mean, Cheeky and JB, yeah, but a lot of these videos on social media are of some young women and young men doing some foolish stuff. So, I mean, are you just basing that on Rilla what you see on YouTube or what you've seen out there?
No, I'm in the field.
Because
I
kids
use
are
them
having kids
because
nowadays.
but I use no. First of all, the birth rate is down, number one. Number two, the marriage rate is equally down. And number three, I use Cheeky Banner in them because those are archetypes of what we would all be familiar with, seeing as how that's home team, right? But when I go to my school, or when I go into the hood, or if I go to MTB, or if I go to Corliss, where I do work, whatever, I'm seeing different amongst the young men.